Welcome! It is Mr. Ranieri here, and we are here to learn about angle properties and using them to do a proof, to prove something. We have 4 angle properties here. The first one is called angles at a point. Notice that these 3 angles are all around this point here, and together they make a full circle, a full revolution, I should say. So if these 3 angles make a full revolution, then what number do you think I'll get if I add them all together? I'll get 360. This angle plus this angle plus this angle all together make a full turn, 360 degrees. In a similar way, these 2 angles are 2 angles on a straight line. And when I have angles that together make a straight line, they add up to make a straight line. And what is the angle of a straight line? 180 degrees. This one, I've got angles that are at a right angle. And these angles together, when you put them next to each other, make a 90-degree angle. So when I add them together, I'll get 90 degrees. These 2 angles are called vertically opposite angles. The name is a bit confusing because even if I had A and B, these are also called vertically opposite angles, even though it's horizontal. Confusing, I know, but the important thing is that they are opposite each other, where 2 straight lines intersect, where 2 straight lines cross. And if you have a look at A, is this angle here, bloop, 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 bloop. There we go, about that big. So a little bit bigger than a right angle. And if you have a look at B, about this big, which do you think is bigger, A or B? Well, trick question, A equals B. These 2 are the exact same angle, much the same way that this sharp angle, this acute angle, is exactly the same as that one. We can use these 4 rules, these 4 angle properties, to find angles that are unknown. And we're going to do that by doing a proof. When I say a proof, I mean you start with what information is given, and step by step you make statements that have good reasons. Someone can follow along with the statements and say, yes, that is correct, and that follows, and you'll have a conclusion, you have the answer, that has a very good reasons behind it. That's a proof. So find the value of x. I've got x and 75. Which of these 4 situations do I have here? I've got angles on a straight line. So when I add them together, x plus 75 equals 180. Always, if you're doing a proof, you write, for these geometry proofs, you're going to write an equation that is true and a reason that it is true. Why is this true? You can't just make stuff up in maths. It's not that kind of thing. If you want to do that, do English, I don't know, write a poem or something. In maths, you don't just make stuff up. We need reasons for it. So the reason here is this theorem called angles on a straight line. You can abbreviate theorems a little bit as long as it's easy for the reader to understand. So I've got angles on a line. Now I can solve this equation. You might instantly be able to see the answer, maybe, but I'm going to go through a method, which is, I've got 3 terms here. There's a term, x term, and a plus 75 term, and a 180 term. The terms are separated by pluses or equal signs or minuses. So this x, I'll leave that there because that's an unknown, but this thing, this constant term, this number term, I'm going to move to the other side. And it was positive 75. It will become the opposite. The opposite of plus 75 is negative 75. Everything else stays the same. The x I copy down, the equal sign I copy down, the 180 I copy down, but the 75 was positive 75. I've moved it to become the opposite. This might seem silly at this point, but believe you me, when we get to the trickier ones like this, having a strategy will be helpful. We practice the strategy on the simple ones so we can use the strategy on the complex ones. Now, therefore, x equals 180 take 75 is 105 degrees. So that is this angle here. All right, next one. I've got two angles here. One of them is this angle here, boop, 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 and the other one is this angle here, boop, 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 boop. Which of these four situations do we have? We have vertically opposite angles. So these two things are equal. This equals that. And again, we need to give a reason. Just writing the answer is not a proof. A proof requires reasons. In maths, communication is important. For example, in a test, the answer might only be worth 1 mark on a 4-mark question. In real life, we collaborate, we work together. We need to be able to understand each other. So a proof needs reasons. The reason here is vertically opposite angles. Notice that I've shortened vertically to say vert, opposite to say op, and I've used this angle symbol, angles. You don't have to do that. You can write the whole name, but Mr. Aneri is very lazy, and mathematicians are often lazy, so you can shorten it like this. All right, now the strategy comes in handy because now we've got a bit more complicated algebraic equation. I have a few terms. Here's a term, here's another term, here's another term, and here's another term. Notice that the term includes the plus or minus sign in front of it. We want to get all of the unknown terms to the left-hand side and all of the constant terms, the number terms, to the right-hand side. So, which of these four terms are unknown terms? They have an unknown in them. This one and this one, 3x and 2x. Which of these four terms do not contain an unknown? They're constant terms. This one and this one, negative 35 and plus 25. So all of the terms that have an unknown in them will go to the left. The 3x will stay here. The 2x was on this side. It will move to the left-hand side and become negative 2x equals. The 25 will stay there. The negative 35 will move to the other side. Was negative 35 becomes positive 35. Now, if you're confused at this point and you're not sure what's going on, please go back and have a look at my videos on solving linear equations. I'll put links to them. You can ask me for them. That skill of being able to solve equations like this is required for this topic. So I've got videos to help specifically with that skill. From now on, I'll just sort of assume that you know that skill. If you've got questions, please look at that video and or ask me about it and I can help you. All right, 3 lots of x, take 2 lots of x is 1 lot of x equals 25 plus 35 is 60. I'm not quite finished yet. I've forgotten something after the 60. A unit, 60 degrees. All right. So this, so x is 60 degrees. Okay, let's try on. More angle properties. So these are the same angle properties, but some more questions. Find the value of x. Which of these 4 situations do you think I have? I have 2 angles that add to make a right angle. So x plus 25 equals 90. The reason that I can give is angles in a right angle or at a right angle. Now to solve this, x stays where it is. The 25 will move to the other side, become negative 25. X equals 90, take 25. X equals 65 degrees. One last one. I've got 4 different angles here that add up to make a full revolution. Which of these 4 situations do you think I have? I have this one, angles at a point. So these angles added together equal 360 degrees. If I did 90 plus 60 plus x, add those 4 angles together, that number is the same as 360. The reason? Angles at a point, that's the name of that theorem. Now I can start moving terms around, these, I've got, how many terms here? There's a 90 term, plus 60, plus x, and there we go, I've got 5 terms here. These x terms will stay here. That 90 term will go to the other side and become negative 90. This 60 term will also go to the other side and become negative 60. Bit of a mess. So the 2x terms stay there. Then I've got my equal sign, then 360. The 90 turns into minus 90. The 60 turns into minus 60. I've got everything on the previous line. I've copied it here. Move some things around. That's okay. Therefore, x plus x is 2 lots of x equals 360 take 90 take 60 is 210. Therefore, I know what 2 times x is. What's the opposite of multiplying by 2? It is dividing by 2. So x is 210 divided by 2. Finally, therefore x equals 105 degrees. Now, as a reminder, if this algebra stuff, being able to do all of these lines here, if that's not something that you're really confident in, go back and look at my videos on how to solve linear equations, because this stuff is important. This is the answer. Tick, 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 tick. So if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mark question, and you just say, oh, 105, well, you've got a 1 out of 5 for that question. So you've got 20%. 20% is not a passing grade. So if all you're focused about is the test, which you shouldn't be, you should be thinking bigger than that, then you need to have this kind of proof. It needs to be a really thorough, really clear proof to communicate. And if you're not sure how to do the algebra, watch the videos and ask me Pearl. All right, good luck with the questions. If you need a hand, just let me know. Bye, everyone.